long have we waited. About a year and 2 months to be exact, but it is finally here. A Quiet Place Part 2 is directed by John Krasinski and stars Emily Blunt once again as the mother of the Abbott family. Following the events of the first film, they are forced to hunt for survival and face the terrors of the outside world, all while trying to be as quiet as they humanly can. However, the further they travel, they realize that the creatures that hunt by sound aren't the only threats on the outside. I was actually able to view this in advance, like 6 days before its official release date. And it's funny I'm saying this because this movie should have been released last year around March or something like that. But then COVID had to come and fuck everything up. It's crazy that it's been that long. I mean, think about it. If things went as normal, like we could have watched this a little over a year ago. Like it almost feels like I'm reviewing an old movie, which technically I am. So as you can see, like most people, I've been anticipating this film for quite some time. I mean, the first film was just amazing. It was a great, simple yet effective, suspenseful, carefully crafted dramatic horror thriller, which also tugged at your heartstrings quite a bit. And even though a lot wasn't said, the film did still hint a lot of different themes and ideas or different theories to this unique world. And I mean, it does, like, even though they don't explicitly tell you things, you can still make sense of a lot of things on your own. And the build-up in the movie was just amazing. So coming into part 2, I was wondering, how were they going to live up to the expectations of the first film? I mean, it's pretty hard to do so, right? And I have to say, this film did a pretty damn good job at it. It does start out a bit slow though, quite similar to the first one. At one point I was like, not much is really happening. But then it just picks up like that. And when it does, oh boy, it just doesn't stop. It's still very suspenseful, very eerie at times, somewhat unclear what's going to happen at some points, especially with how quiet everyone is. And things are happening like from different places. It's a great thrill, honestly, like not knowing what the end result is. And oh my, it has the same dramatic conclusion just like the first one. While in the first film, it was a major focus on the parents of the Abbott family, trying to protect and ultimately save their kids, sacrificing part of their well-being for them. In this one, it was on the kids, Jupe and Millicent Simmonds. Seeing the development of their characters and their performances was just amazing throughout the events of this film and the last one. The transformation from being very scared and timid to just being fearless and trying to protect their loved ones, amazing to see, just awesome. While the story of the first film was focused on the Abbott family and their little home, in this one they kind of expanded and add a little bit more characters and places into the mix. It reminds me so much of The Last of Us, this post-apocalyptic wasteland, Joel and Ellie. That duo reminded me so much of them. One thing I wish I could have seen in this movie was like more backstory to these monsters, like who they are, where they came from especially, and how they land on Earth. I mean, we do get to see some glimpses of that at the very start of this film, but I mean, it's not all that clear, and I just wish I got to learn more of these creatures or monsters. You know what would be cool though? Like if there was a prequel which showed what happened between day 1 and day 100 and something, showing the Abbott family, how they had to adapt to the new times, how they had to survive, what did they learn? Because I'm pretty sure they learned a lot of things. Like, I think that would be really cool and awesome to see. Because like, in the first film, they just jump right into it and they just go for gold. In terms of the story and build-up, I still prefer the first film just because of the way it is and seeing a family deal with such things. And I say that because we're going to see them play, how they play games, how they eat, how they walk, they walk in bare feet, all like, as a way to avoid making as much sound as possible. In this movie, we don't see those things as much or even at all. But regardless, this was an amazing sequel and it felt more than a movie. Like, it felt like it meant something. especially towards the end. I'm going to give A Quiet Place Part 2 an A-. I wonder if they're going to make a Quiet Place Part 3. I mean, if they do, I'd definitely be down. I see how that could definitely be possible. I mean, because we could learn more about these monsters. We could see maybe more and different monsters and just see them expand on this world, you know, quite like how they did in this movie. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Like and sub if you enjoyed, and as always, feel free to check out any of my previous videos. Until next time.